What's going on, guys, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over how to draw in support and resistance lines. Now, this is going to be a fairly quick tutorial so you can get in and get out with what you need. I want it to be very, very easy because I think this is one of the most important skills when it comes to becoming more of an active trader. If you're an investor, a long-term investor, it doesn't necessarily matter as much about the technical setups compared to the fundamentals of the company. Obviously, the fundamentals are going to reign supreme on a longer-term investment, whereas a trade, technicals will matter, fundamentals can certainly matter as well, but you want to be looking to get the right entries, where it makes sense to get in, where it might make sense to put a stop loss, and where you want to be looking to take profit because of these support and resistance lines. Buying at support, selling into resistance, that's the name of the game. That's a strategy that I use for my swing trades. So real quick, make sure you're jumping down, subscribing to the channel, hitting that thumbs up button, and let's dive right in. So what I want to use first is I want to use SPY, the S&P 500 ETF, okay? I have a couple lines drawn in on this guy that are resistance lines. The reason why I have these lines, so we can get rid of this one right here, is because these are areas that I saw resistance. And we're going to talk about this really quick. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to explain how I draw these lines, the platform I'm using. So the platform that I am using right now is Webull Desktop. If you're using the same platform, awesome, you can follow right along. If you're using a different platform, there's going to be a different drawing tools section, but pretty much the basics are going to be the same. So where do I go when it comes to Webull? If I'm on my charting feature, and I have videos going over how to create the customized layout, things like that on the channel if you want to check it out after this video. So I come up to the top left. I know it's a little bit small, but I'll zoom in here when I'm editing. Up in the top left, we see a drawing tab. I'm going to click on drawings, and then I'm going to click on the trend line tab, and you actually can bring down the drop down and pull up a couple different types. For this example, I'm going to use a trend line that I now have the power to draw. Now, when I am looking to draw trend lines, for example, we're using SPY. We're going to use a couple of different examples so you can see this a couple times. What I'm aiming to do is I'm aiming to find 3 points, and I want to be able to connect 3 points. And I'm not just connecting any points. I'm looking to connect tops or bottoms of candlesticks, okay? Now, I have a video out, or it's coming very, very soon on candlesticks. So if you haven't seen that, look up candlesticks on my channel, Candlesticks 101. That's a great place to start to understand how these things work. But for the purpose of this video, what we want to do is we want to draw in this trend line. I'm going to draw this trend line from this candle right here. Now, what I want to do is I want to be able to connect 3 candles. Can I do that? If I can do that, then we have a valid trend in my opinion, okay? So what I'm going to do roughly is draw that. Okay, now why did I do that? Okay, I'm starting right here. You could have technically started from this candle back here, and then you could have refigured this line a little bit, and you would have gotten something similar. But I'm going to start from this candle right here. Now, guys, trading is an art. It's not an exact science. So this is up to you, right? There's no right or wrong answer here. It's up to what you're seeing and how you interpret things. That's ultimately going to lead you to draw these lines. Now, how I see this is I see a candle right here. I see a touch right here. I see a couple touches right here. So right off the bat, I have at least 5 candles that I've already hit right there. And each of these candles is 1 day. You can utilize this exact strategy on any time frame. And we'll talk about a strategy on the 1 day, 1 minute time frame here in just 1 second. So we have a couple candle touches there. We have another one here, and a couple more towards the top. So to me, that's a valid trend line. I just drew that trend line. And what is that trend line showing me? I'm connecting here the tops of candles. What does a top mean? That's the highest that the stock went that day. That's showing resistance at that point, okay? It can't break through that point, but we have kind of uptrending resistance here. So that's currently, as of right now, our top line resistance. And then what do we see on the downside here, or toward the downside, or a downtrend? I see the exact same thing, but going down. We kind of can connect a couple candles right there, and I now see right here, we can actually adjust this a little bit. What I see right here is at least 3 or 4 candles now touching here. Here's resistance to the upside. So now we have a downtrend, and if SPY gets back above this downtrend line, that could mean a bullish breakout to the upside, and we might be looking at new highs very, very soon from the time that I'm filming this video. Now let's dive into an example from today that I drew in a support line intraday on this chart. Now what I did for this line, I'm gonna actually get rid of it and do it again for you guys here. I went up to the same tab, drawings. I went over to the drawings tab. I click on the trend line tab, but I clicked on horizontal line. This way the slope of the line is not gonna throw you off. It's gonna be a horizontal line. You click anywhere on the chart and it's gonna immediately put in a line right across. Okay. Why did I do that? Because I'm noticing BLNK right here. And I said, okay, look at this. This stock came down here to this $30.30 level. Looks like a few times today. So what I did is at $30.30, I drew this horizontal trend line. I just clicked the screen once and there it is. So what I saw here was, okay, BLNK has respected this line. It was actually just after the market opened that it hit the line first. And then a couple more times throughout the day, I was like, okay, that seems to be support for right now. Then guess what happens? Here's an example of this support failing and a way to tell you, hey, let's get out of this trade. Or if you want to take a short position, hey, let me short the stock here. Well, it's when BLNK dropped below this $30.30. What do we see? We zoom in, the stock dropped right down, and the next thing you know, within a few minutes, it was down to $29.77. So a decent percentage dropped to the downside just like that on a support break. So that's showing us support. But again, like I said, doesn't mean support's going to hold, but it's a really good way to say, okay, this area has to hold. Why did we see BLNK all of a sudden drop down? Because that support no longer was holding. So again, what I did was I connected a bunch of these bottoms of the candles. The bottoms are telling me, hey, the stock has not gone below that level. That is support. And I could, of course, do this on different time frames. This is the 1 day, 1 minute. I could zoom out and look at stocks on different time frames. Here's a stock with an example that we're going to use an uptrending support. So we put in an uptrending resistance line before. Now we're going to look at uptrending support. How do I do that? Here's an uptrending support. So I'm going to take my trend line tool. I'm going to make sure I have it selected for trend line. I'm going to go from some of these bottoms down here, and I'm going to see if I can connect a couple candles. And just like that, I've connected 3 candles here. So we have one down towards the bottom, down towards about 45 cents. We have one here in December down around 78 cents. And then we have a wick down right here, down to about $1.02 or 3 cents. And that is telling us 3 hits to this trend line. I've connected 3 points on this trend line. To me, that's a valid trend for this ticker symbol CEI. That is how I do it when it comes to support and resistance. You can draw these lines on the tops of candles, that's resistance. You can draw them on the bottoms of candles, that's support. And many times you can also find areas where prior resistance becomes new support. Let me show you that really quick. I'm going to use this stock CLVS as an example. I already have a horizontal line drawn in. And why did I do that? Well, because I'm noticing a pattern here. I'm noticing a trend that when the stock is above this line, it seems to hold this $5.50 area as support. When the stock is below this line, it seems to have that $5.50 as resistance. Now, why is that? Well, we look back here, back in, it looks like September, October, we came down to this $5.50 a couple times. And we held up that level as support. Eventually, we cracked down and fell below, but we held this level as support. Then guess what happened here in December? We came up to this $5.50 multiple times. Yeah, we wicked above, we came above briefly, but then we came right back down, and it seemed like that area was resistance. Eventually here in January, we broke above, and then now, as we broke above, we held that level here on CLVS as new support. Prior resistance becomes new support. That level held up, and we pushed to the upside. Now guess where we are right again. We've been trading above this $5.50 and have come right back down to that $5.50. So as of right now, CLVS is holding some support here at $5.50. And so how do you identify trades from this? Well, it makes it pretty easy in terms of my view on how I trade this. I'm buying this thing towards support. The second I realize the stock is no longer holding support, that is where I'll sell the stock. So for example, if CLVS came down, yes, see these wicks of these candles? They came down, but as long as the stock closes back over $5.50, I'm feeling just fine. So as long as it does that, I'm going to stay in. If it doesn't, I get out. That's how I identify my trades. Now, if I was to go back on CLVS, we can see a couple different patterns here. I can even draw in another trend line right here showing us that we have found support down around this level. So take a look at this. A couple hits to this trend line have shown bottom support here down towards $4 and down towards $4.50 back in here. Knowing what we knew prior, knowing that, hey, this $5.50 was an area of support in the past, where do I look to sell my shares? If I'm buying this and I'm noticing, hey, there's a trend right here, I'm looking to get into CLVS down here in the low 4s, right down in here, looks like at the end of November. If I'm looking to get in here, where am I looking to sell? I'm going to look to sell some shares up towards $5.50. If we can break out over that resistance, maybe I'll hold some shares and ride a little bit further, but that's the name of the game. That's how I develop and draw in my support and resistance lines. Hopefully that makes sense. Always, always, always when it comes to trends, I try to hit at least 3 points. I don't want to hit 2 points. That's not really showing me much of a trend. 3 or more points that you can connect on the bottoms of candles, on the tops of candles, or in this example, if you can connect a bunch of bottoms with a bunch of tops, that's still showing you previous support, now resistance. That's going to be a key level on the chart. So hopefully this video makes sense. Now, if you want a more in-depth explanation to how I actually go about adding to my positions, because I don't buy all at once, I have a video going over my risk management strategy. Go to the playlist tab of my channel, find risk management, and that will give you guys a really good video going over where I look to add into support and where I look to sell into resistance and how I calculate things. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you got something out of the video, make sure you're leaving a like on the video down below. Subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. The platform we're using is Webull. You can still get 2 free stocks when you sign up and deposit $100 with the platform. Highly recommend doing it. I use it every single day. I've been liking it. They've been upgrading it a lot, so it's really, really cool. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.